Hola, bienvenidos a otra Satchel Class. Soy Mr. Castrillón. Today we're going to talk about mi instituto. And it's a Key Stage 3 lesson for Year 7. But if you're a Year 8 student or a Year 9 student, feel free to join us and learn a lot about school, which is going to be our topic today. Today, we are going to... Hoy vamos a repasar el vocabulario sobre el colegio. Vamos a emplear el verbo hay en español. Vamos a leer opiniones negativas y positivas. Y vamos a escribir un texto sobre nuestro colegio. So we have quite a few things to do today, but hopefully by the end of the lesson, you're going to be quite familiar with lots and lots of vocabulary, as well as some very important structures that we use in Spanish. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to revise all the vocabulary about my school. So first, let's start with all these words that are masculine. We are going to have some words that are feminine as well. We are going to be using them, some of them in plural. You'll see what happens to those words and always take note of the lesson. Un patio. Un patio. This word is a masculine word, as you can see. It starts un. That's an indefinite article, which translates to a, and that's basically a patio, a background, the backyard. Un comedor. Un comedor. Can you guess what it means? The picture is very easy to kind of give us an idea of what it means. Un comedor, a dining room. Well done. Muchas aulas. Muchas aulas. As you can see, the color in the background changed. Can you guess why? Yes, because aulas in Spanish is a feminine word. And that means that everything that will be an adjective, for instance, if you want to say a small classroom, in Spanish will have to make a change to the word small to make it sound correct. Now, I am using the word muchas. Muchas mean many. So that actually means many classrooms. In some countries in Latin America, which is where I come from, we don't use the word aula as such. We say salón. Salón. However, in Spain, they will be using the word aula. And very likely when you're taking your listening exam, you will hear the word aula. Muchas aulas. Many classrooms. Una biblioteca. Una biblioteca. That word, as you can see, is a feminine word and it means the library. Un gimnasio. Un gimnasio, a gym. Masculine word again, ending in O. We use un, which is the masculine article when we are talking about a or an object that is masculine. Unos vestuarios. Unos vestuarios. And if you see this word, it's a long word, but always try to remember the way it starts, vest. So think of something that you wear. And of course, that's where you get changed. Unos vestuarios, dressing rooms. Un salón de actos. Un salón de actos. A school assembly hall. And this is a very commonplace in many schools. In some places, it's going to be small, and in some other places, it's going to be big. But you will always find one. Unas salas de informática. Unas salas de informática. Now, we go pink, which means that the word sala is feminine. And that is the word that actually is going to rule the sentence in terms of masculine or feminine. And although we have the word informatica, which is also feminine, anything in Spanish, by the way, that ends in ATICA, informatica, matemática, programática, all of these words will be feminine. So in this case, we are lucky that we have two feminine words. But the word that really, or kind of rules the whole sentence, if we had a sentence, it is unas salas. Un laboratorio. Un laboratorio. Very easy to remember because it spells similarly to the word in English, laboratory. And also, really important to remember, this is a masculine word. Una sala de profesores. Una sala de profesores. Is a feminine word, exactly. And most importantly, the one that rules is una sala, not the profesores, because profesores is plural, but also is masculine. So if we want to say a small or a big staff room, then we have to look at sala. Unos servicios. Unos servicios. Now, here we have a masculine word, and interestingly, it depends on where you are, in which country. In Latin America, we wouldn't use the word servicios. We would use something different. But for the time being, and because you will be doing a lot of your learning in Spain, this is the best one to remember. Unos servicios. And also remember that the C will prompt you to make a different sound. Unos servicios. So it is up to you which one you want to use. Servicios o servicios. Una piscina. Una piscina. Let's see, it's a feminine word. And also, the C is going to prompt you to say piscina if you want to say it that way. Now, if you can't remember the word, think of the star sign Pisces, which is that one there. Un polideportivo. Un polideportivo. Masculine word, long one, good to remember, good to use when you're talking about your school, when you're doing your writing, or you're talking about your school in your exam. It's a very good one to remember. It's a long word that will give you lots of points because it's a difficult one to pronounce. Polideportivo. Right, so what are we going to do next? Well, I'm going to show you some sentences, and what I would like you to do is I want you to try and translate what they are in Spanish. But before we start, I'm going to show you something really important, and it's the word or the sentence I. I is a very common sentence or verb in English, which means there is, there are. Okay. Now, you might be thinking, what is the difference? Well, in Spanish, there is none. So you can talk about, for instance, there is a house, and you'll see with lots of examples here. And this is a singular sentence. So we say, hay una casa. There are houses. Hay casas. So the verb I won't change. It will remain the same, which is very good and is very useful when we are practicing our Spanish. And the only thing you will have to keep an eye on is the word that follows. So for instance, una casa or casas, because if it is plural, all you need to say is hay casas, hay muchas casas, hay pocas casas, hay dos casas, hay cuatro casas. And then that's you using I and a number of items or objects. For the time being, we're going to be talking about the school. So we are not going to actually include new words other than the ones that we have learned so far. So let's try and do a little bit of practice with the words that we have learned so far. There is an assembly hall. How would you say that in Spanish? I'm going to give you 10 seconds to try and come up with the answer. By the way, if you can't remember, have a look at the bottom here, and I have all the words in this green box that you can actually use. There's an assembly hall. En español, hay un salón de actos. Hay un salón de actos. Feel free to copy the sentences and feel free to repeat with me whilst I am pronouncing these words in Spanish or the sentences. There is an ICT room. Can you remember what ICT room is in Spanish? Hay una sala de informática. There are many classrooms. There are many classrooms. Hay muchas aulas. Well done. Hay muchas aulas. There is a dining room. There is a dining room. Hay un comedor. There is a staff room. Hay una sala de profesores. Hay una sala de profesores. There is a big library. Hay una biblioteca grande. Hay una biblioteca grande. There isn't a swimming pool. There isn't a swimming pool, and this is a very good sentence. Look at that. This is a negative one. Can you guess how to say that in Spanish? No hay una piscina. No hay una piscina. Notice how we put the negative at the very beginning of the sentence, and you will want to do that every single time you have a negative sentence. There aren't any dressing rooms. There aren't any dressing rooms. No hay unos vestuarios. No hay unos vestuarios. There isn't a sports hall. No hay un polideportivo. No hay un polideportivo. There are many toilets. Hay muchos servicios. Hay muchos servicios. There is a small lab. Hay un laboratorio pequeño. Hay un laboratorio pequeño. Good. That's really good. We have learned how to say there is, there are. Now, what I'm going to show you is some sentences. And these sentences will give us positive or negative opinions about certain classrooms or places in a school. Your mission is to try and work out where these sentences are positive or negative. Okay, so let's cover it. Let's go for it. La piscina de mi colegio es pequeña y sucia. I will repeat that. La piscina de mi colegio es pequeña y sucia. What do you think this is going to be? Is it a positive or a negative point of view? Well, let's have a look at the words that we have. We have pequeña, and pequeña means small. Now, sucia means dirty. So do you reckon that is a positive or a negative point of view? Indeed, it is a negative sentence. So that would translate as the swimming pool in my school is small and dirty. La sala de profesores es grande y muy bien decorada. La sala de profesores es grande y muy bien decorada. What do you think this is going to be? Do you reckon it's going to be positive or negative? Yes, we have the word grande and we have muy bien decorada. Decorada means full of decorations, very well painted. So this is a very positive opinion. La sala de informática es moderna y muy cómoda. La sala de informática es moderna y muy cómoda. Well, that is going to be positive. We have the words moderna, muy cómoda, modern, very comfortable. No hay muchos servicios para las niñas y siempre están sucios. Now, this is a more complex sentence. No hay muchos servicios para las niñas y siempre están sucios. Well, first of all, we have that there aren't too many for the girls, and also they're always dirty. A very negative indeed. Las aulas cuentan con mucho espacio y con mucha luz. Las aulas cuentan con mucho espacio y con mucha luz. We're talking about the classrooms here, and we are also saying that there is plenty of room and a lot of light. That's a very positive sentence. La biblioteca es muy grande, pero los libros son viejos. La biblioteca es muy grande, pero los libros son viejos. Well, we have two very opposite points of view. We have, first of all, that the library is very big, but the books are very old. Los laboratorios son muy seguros y muy limpios. The labs are very safe and very clean. Very positive point of view. El polideportivo cuenta con instalaciones modernas y con acceso para estudiantes en sillas de ruedas. El polideportivo cuenta con instalaciones modernas y con acceso para estudiantes en sillas de ruedas. Well, this is very positive indeed. We have modern facilities and we have access for students who have to use wheelchairs. That's very positive indeed. El comedor es muy oscuro durante el invierno y es muy frío. El comedor es muy oscuro durante el invierno y es muy frío. Quite a few negative words here. We know that it's very cold in the winter and it's very dark. So that means that it's a negative point of view. Right, now let's try and write something about a school. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to try and write as much as you can about your school. The name of your school, where it is located, what kind of a school is it? Mixed, for boys, for girls, and tell me what facilities there are in your school, as well as those that you don't have at your school, and what you would like to see or have in your school. I'll give you a couple of minutes for that. Off you go. Very well done. I hope you have written quite a few ideas about your school. Well, this is basically the end of our lesson. We revised the different facilities that we find in our schools. We learned how to say there are in Spanish. And we read sentences and we were able to say where they were positive or negative points of view. And finally, we wrote a short paragraph about our school. Couple of things before I go. The first one, remember there are some masculine, some feminine words here when we are talking about the school. And also, always remember to give your point of view about the different facilities in your school. Feel free to come back to this lesson and watch the video again. Pause the video, take notes, take a picture with your phone, and that's going to give you lots of ideas for you to take to school or to take home. Also, ask your teacher what you can do to improve your sentences and to improve your level of Spanish. In the meantime, I wish you the very best, and I hope I can see you very soon. See you later. Hasta la vista.